I think this literally has to be the most asked question in computer science, the entire field, coding, programming, whatever you want to call it. People are always asking, which programming language should I start with? What should I learn in 2017, 2018, 2019? Insert year here. So let's talk about that. What programming languages you should learn in 2019? What's going to make you the money? What's hot and up and coming? What are a lot of people talking about? Let's go over the 4 programming languages that you should take a look at and learn in 2019. None of these are in specific orders. These are just laid out randomly, the 4 languages that I think you should learn in 2019. And not only me, but I also have statistics to prove it up. The first one, obviously, JavaScript. As mentioned previously in another video, JavaScript is everywhere. JavaScript is king, not cash anymore, JavaScript. Everybody is on the internet. The internet is used for literally everything. And JavaScript is injected everywhere now. Front end, back end, machine learning, mobile apps. It's almost like stop, but another thing awesome about JavaScript is the pay. According to Glassdoor, front-end web developers get paid an average of $93K per year. Not bad. But the biggest reason that I put JavaScript on this list, other than that it's literally everywhere and it pays awesome, JavaScript has the biggest online community out of any language right now in 2018. Well, actually it's 2019 now, January 1st. Happy New Year. So that means, as a beginner, there is so many places you can go get help online as a JavaScript developer. There are so many JavaScript developers right now out there that it will literally take you 5 to 10 minutes to get a response when you do have a question if you are posting to those places that are frequented often. And not only is it easy to get help, JavaScript is #1 right now for the most third-party frameworks, apps, codes, libraries right now. So if you are looking to do something for a project, something you need done, chances are that someone's already done that and you can just use their code and it'll make your project that much easier. JavaScript was my first language and it made that barrier to entry soft, easy, and it was pretty low. I am glad I did start with JavaScript, but I didn't pick up on those things like object-oriented programming right away because object-oriented programming isn't really pushed in your face with JavaScript. But all in all, personally, I do think that JavaScript is the #1 language to learn in 2019. I think it is the hottest language, and it's only going to keep growing, and people are going to keep talking about it, and it's going to keep getting everywhere, and people are going to keep getting annoyed. People meaning people that aren't JavaScript developers. I literally had friends this summer at my internship that would always talk back and talk trash about JavaScript because neither of them were JavaScript developers. And that's another thing. A lot of people will disagree with me and say that JavaScript is a terrible language and you shouldn't start with it. But again, argue with me. These people are overreacting, and JavaScript is actually a great language. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are kind of wrong with it, but that happens in every language. So definitely take a look at JavaScript for 2019. Alright, so the second language on this list comes with no surprise really, but it is Python. As like front-end web developers and JavaScript developers, Python makes the big bucks too. According to Glassdoor, Python developers are making an average right now of $92K per year. I'd say though, the biggest reason that Python is on my list for 2019 is because of those 2 fields. We call them data science and we call it machine learning. Right now, those 2 markets and fields are going to be the hottest and most talked about industries in tech. Python right now, especially for startups and companies that haven't been around too long, is the hottest language right now for machine learning and data science. So not only does Python do machine learning and data science, but Python can also be used in web development too. Now I'm starting to see why people say learn Python over JavaScript. I still wouldn't say that. And honestly, it keeps adding up because on top of it being used in machine learning, being used in web development, being used in data science, Python is also the most easily read language that's actually popular right now in programming. So if you're an absolute beginner and you do choose Python to go with, it's going to be probably the lowest barrier to entry in terms of syntax. It reads almost like straight English, which makes coding a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to read other people's code. It's a lot easier to maintain your code, which makes your life easy. You save a lot of hair because you're not pulling it out. And when you join a company and you're reading through those other people's codes like I just mentioned, you're not reading through a billion lines of code that you can't really understand. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing that as a beginner. So yes, Python is going to be on everyone's list for 2019. So number 3 on my list, which might actually come as a little bit of a surprise, is Swift. And a big reason why I put Swift on this list is obviously iOS development. Swift is a fairly new language made by Apple. Version 1.0 literally just dropped in 2014. If you are already familiar with JavaScript too, a lot of Swift's syntax was stolen from JavaScript. Now the languages definitely are different, but the syntaxes look and feel the same. And probably the point you guys care about most, and really what I care about most, is iOS programmers get paid the most out of anybody on this list, coming in at 101K average. According to GitHub, Swift wasn't very popular compared to other languages in 2018, but like I said, because Swift is still a really new language, it's not going to be the most popular on GitHub right now because it's not going to have the most repos. But it's definitely going to keep climbing in the years, and 2019 is one of those years that it's going to keep going up. And yes, a lot of the iOS programmers right now do use Objective-C at the big companies, but Swift is going to be one of those go-to languages that developers that are getting hired now, 2020, 2021, are going to be using. That is for writing new code at least, because obviously there's still going to be that legacy code. And not only is Swift just using the front end, I guess you could call it an iOS development, it is also now able to be used in the back end as well. I've not personally tried it in the back end, but I know a lot of friends that are iOS developers that say Swift is pretty cool and powerful in the back end. So just like all of these languages on this list, Swift is a very versatile language, and that's why it's awesome. I just recently learned Swift the past 2018, and I really enjoyed it. I really didn't think I was going to like iOS programming at all, but it turned out to be really fun, and the language is really powerful and fun to use. And honestly, what's great about Swift is that it is already super awesome, and there is already a lot out there, a lot of resources, a lot of materials for it. But because it's only 4.5 years old, there's a lot coming for it. There's a lot of things yet to be made for that language, so it is going to be hotter every single year. I honestly wouldn't doubt that in 5 years, Swift is going to be one of those languages like JavaScript where it started spreading everywhere, and it's actually pretty popular in its areas. Like back-end server-side Swift right now isn't that popular, but in 5 years, I'd be willing to bet that it is. So if you're looking to do iOS programming, Swift, I approve. All right, the fourth and final language we're talking about today is, again, another language of no surprise, Java. Main reason that Java is on my list is that it is the second most popular language on GitHub right now. So it is a very old language, but people are still raving about it. And Java, like the rest of the languages on this list, is another very versatile language. Java is probably the most popular enterprise language right now. So all the Fortune 500 companies, most of their code base you're going to see is most likely Java. So Java is used in enterprise apps. Java right now is also used in Android development. Java can also be used in web development. And Java can also just be used in desktop apps. Okay, and not only is Java just very versatile and just because it's old you should use it, it's strong. And because Java is such an old language, there's so many books and so many resources online. I'd probably say more resources online, than JavaScript. Learning Java is going to be a lot easier than some of these other languages that are newer and don't have a ton of resources yet. But Java is probably the hardest language to learn on this list, so tread carefully. The barrier to entry on all of these other languages that I talked about is pretty low, but the barrier to entry for Java, just because of the concepts and the way the language works, is a decent bit higher. But if you're really, really focused on getting hired at one of those big Fortune 500 companies or a company in trading, law, any of those types of companies, you're going to want to learn Java. And Java actually comes in at the second most paid language on this list, coming in at an average of 93K according to Glassdoor. Just if I really had to give you another reason, but I don't think I did. A pretty popular reason why I put Java on this list is because I know Android development is getting hotter, and I know there is the Kotlin language that people are starting to use with Android development, but Java has more resources out there. So Java is going to be very hot in 2019. It may even pass JavaScript for the year. Who knows? So if you're looking to do back-end web development, if you're looking to make enterprise apps, desktop apps, if you're looking to make Android apps, Java would be one of those languages that I would put on your list for 2019. So as you saw, any one of those languages you pick, if it's based on money, they're all going to pay well. And all 4 of these languages are versatile, and they are all very popular and talked about a lot. So in 2019, expect it to be hot. That wasn't supposed to rhyme. Those 4 languages, though, cover basically every type of software development that you would do. Mobile apps, web apps, enterprise apps, back-end apps, basically, name it. That basically wraps it up for this video, though. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you did like it, obviously. I would very much appreciate it, guys, if you hit that subscribe button. I will be making videos like this every single week. And seriously, you don't want to miss it. Again, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.